Hello everyone and welcome back guys to F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory Career Mode, a retrospective. This was something that I used to do back on F1 2018 and I thought I'd bring it back on F1 2019 where we do sort of a small little video on the side at the end of an F1 season. Just a bit of a recap, a bit of a look back, like I said, a bit of a retrospective on what has happened over the course of the season. So obviously if you guys are new around here and you haven't checked out the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, obviously that went live earlier on. There will be spoilers in this video, you can already see one right there. There is going to be spoilers in this. I don't know really why, if you click this video without watching the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the World Drivers title was decided, the Constructors title was decided in that final race. So yeah, certainly one that I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But yeah, the retrospective then, Season 1 of the F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory Career Mode has been definitely one of the strangest I think I've ever had on an F1 game. I've been playing these games since F1 2010, sort of on and off until about 2015, and then sort of 2016, where I started getting into YouTube a bit more when F1 2016 came out. Since then I've sort of just been doing a few more career modes and everything like that. This, by far and away, has been the weirdest one I've seen on a Formula 1 game so far, obviously, with HAAS. You can see, based on the results, it was certainly an up and down season. We had the highs of Melbourne at the beginning of the season, where we got that third place. I honestly didn't really expect that we'd be able to better that over the course of this year, but then obviously we did win the Hungarian Grand Prix as well, though, so nice to get a little bit of silverware back to the factory. But it was a very sort of up and down season, obviously. If we just sort of do a bit of a quick recap through all of the races. Sakir, Bahrain, just in a nutshell, Bahrain did Bahrain things, tyres massive. Actually, what happened at Bahrain as well was we got a puncture right at the end, if I'm not mistaken. We were actually running in not too bad a position, but yeah, a puncture, I think we just under a lap to go, we got it like turn 2, kind of screwed me at the end of the day. Shanghai, good result, we battled the Red Bulls throughout that one and was really, really happy with that one. Baku, again, just another consistent result. Just got decent points on the board. That was always the aim, and well, we managed to achieve that once again. Barcelona was a really strange race. The pace just was really good around there, obviously. Monaco, gutted with that one, in all honesty. Sadly, we faced that DNF around 2/3 of the way in, where we had that gearbox failure, which I was really, really disappointed with. Canada then, after that, just really struggled. Unfortunately, made contact with my teammate at the start. And yeah, that was that race over and done with. Le Castellet, France, that was a good race. We came back from the back row of the grid, and I'm pretty certain we were last going in towards turn 1. And we recovered all the way up to 8th, with a slightly better strategy and just decent race long pace. Everything like that. Spielberg, again, another really solid race. We scored good, decent points there once again. And then Silverstone as well. We actually battled. I think we did beat both the Red Bulls in the end. Gasly just because he's slow. And then, obviously, Max Verstappen as well had those issues towards the end of the Grand Prix. That was a really, really solid result for my home Grand Prix there. Germany, the one of only 2 big mistakes I felt like we made this season in terms of actual on-track. Where, obviously, unfortunately, we were running a bit low, unfortunately, about 10 laps to go, and sadly, yeah, we just clipped the curb the wrong way. Got a huge snap of oversteer, and yeah, unfortunately, we were out of the German Grand Prix. But we bounced back with a win at Budapest, in that tricky, wet race. The AI, I'll have to admit, they're a bit slow in the rain, unfortunately. So yeah, we did claim that race victory there. Spa, again, another solid result. P7 at the end of the day after a big crash, actually. We almost rolled it in Q3 there. And then Monza, I think we went, again, from the back. We put a fresh engine in the car because, well, it was worn out anyway. And yeah, we were able to take home 4th place in that one. We got a bit lucky with a couple of retirements towards the end of the day, but just really good pace around there. Everyone sort of bunched up in the first stint, and then yeah, in the second we were able to sort of spread out. And luckily for me, we spread out towards the front of the pack there. Singapore, again, just another really annoying mistake there. Just got caught out in some dirty air from Lewis Hamilton after a really good battle. And yeah, unfortunately just washed out wide just after the Singapore slinging. Clipped the tyre wall, and sadly, yeah, that would be us out of that Grand Prix. And then, sort of Russia, good solid race, a bit lonely, if I remember correctly. But, we scored some good points once again. Japan, we got lucky at Japan. There is no denying that. It looks like a fairly average result. We were very, very lucky to get that one. We had no pace. I know it's been discussed at the AI. Hopefully going to get balanced at a couple of tracks Japan is definitely one that we need that. We qualified right at the back on raw pace alone. Just, I don't know why. Like I said, the AROP at Japan. And yeah, unfortunately, after that, fortunately, sorry, I should say after that, we got a lucky safety car. We gambled on a soft, quicker compounded tyres, and they just about survived through to the end of the Grand Prix. Mexico as well, another decent result. You know, by this point of the season, we sort of come to the conclusion that engines were absolutely everything on F1 2019. And obviously we had the engine regulation changes that were coming into effect for Season 2. So by this point, you know, the car started to lack in performance, you know, whilst everyone else piles on their last few upgrades. You can see a 9th at Mexico, then a 16th at Austin. Obviously, we were running in the top 10 at Austin, sorry. And then, unfortunately, another gearbox issue cost us right at the end of that Grand Prix there. Sao Paulo 15th, just a lack of pace, and then Abu Dhabi, as hopefully you guys saw earlier on, actually really rather worryingly quite happy with that result at the end of the day there. But yeah, P12 in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, we really did capitalise on a slightly better strategy call halfway through that Grand Prix. And not quite the end to a season I was really hoping for, but still a solid end to the season at the end of the day there. And as you can see in the standings at the end of the World Championship, just 9 points separated Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel there. I honestly thought heading into the final few rounds, it was looking like it was rigged for Hamilton to lose at the end of the day. You know, a couple of really bad results and then the failure at Austin with just 4 corners to go. I thought this wasn't going to be Hamilton's year. I thought, you know, world title number 6 was going to have to wait. But no, he did make it work in the end. A little bit gutted for Mercedes, obviously. They couldn't complete, you know, the 6 back-to-backs now. You know, which is absolutely crazy. But obviously it was a bit of a weird Grand Prix in the fact that Ferrari were happy they won the Constructors. Mercedes were happy they won the Drivers' World title. It was all a little bit strange at the end of the day there. But yeah, 9 points clear of Sebastian Vettel there in P2. Charles Leclerc, a solid season out in P3. Almost brought it down to the line, unfortunately. Just a couple of rough results towards the end of the season as Ferrari started to, you know, sort of back up Sebastian Vettel a bit more, you know. I think Brazil, in all honesty, they might have actually switched on the final lap to try and preserve Sebastian's title chances. Obviously, it was too little too late at the end of the day there. Bottas, a bit of a weird and lonely season for Valtteri Bottas. Obviously, we'll run through all of the race results in just a moment there, ahead of Verstappen, who had a very solid season out with Red Bull. Gasly had a really, really weak first half of the season and then just consistently seemed to sort of finish 4th, 5th, 6th, got a couple of podiums towards the end of the year. Made his title look a little bit better than it really was at the end of the day. I think it's safe to say there. Weber, just behind myself there, we were really, really happy with P7. Best of the rest at the end of the day. We couldn't really ask for much more than that there. Weber, just behind us, you know, very solid result in the Renault, ahead of Sergio Perez. Just 1 point actually between those two at the end of the day. Hulkenberg, considering he came in at just before the halfway stage of the season, a fantastic championship for him to come through with 52 points there. Ahead of George Russell, consistent in that Williams. You know, he was running P10 up until the final race of the championship, where unfortunately Hulkenberg did get a really, really good 4th place at the end of the day. Then unfortunately dropped George Russell back outside the top 10 there. Devon Butler, after that mid-season swap to Renault, 33 points, still a solid result there ahead of my teammate Grosjean. We scored 100 more points than Romain Grosjean in this World Championship. I was a little bit surprised by that one there. 1 point clear of Kubica ahead of Raikkonen and Norris. Daniel Ricciardo, who obviously I'm not too sure if he's retired. He may be returning for Season 2. We'll have to wait and see. There'll be a video. Hopefully, you know, if I don't actually know at the time of recording this if we're getting any driver swaps. So hopefully tomorrow, if there is any, we'll be making a video on that. But yeah, we got Lando Norris ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Carlos Sainz, the last of the point scorers there, with Giovinazzi and then Danny Kvyat and Alexander Albon all not scoring points at the end of the World Championship. Means in the Constructors, Ferrari did take the top set there ahead of Mercedes, 38 points at the end of the day. Red Bull in a very, very lonely P3. Racing Point doing a fantastic job in P4. They're ahead of ourselves in P5. I'll take that. That was a really, really good result in my book at the end of the day. Hopefully we can try and move up towards Racing Point in Season 2, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Renault and Williams, 6th and 7th there even, I should say. I'm sure Williams are happy with that. Renault probably a little bit disappointed. They really should have been up at P4. And then a long, long drop-off to Alfa Romeo with obviously all of Raikkonen's points scored basically at the start of the season there. McLaren disappointing all the way down in 9th, but both their drivers obviously did score points as well there. And then Toro Rosso, no points at the end of the World Championship. A very, very shocking season for them, but obviously kind of irrelevant because, well, if they need it, they'll just get some Red Bull parts on that car. In terms of the season results, though, as you can see, Hamilton took home, well, 7 race victories at the end of the day. He liked to win them in chunks by the look of it. He won back-to-back Azerbaijan and Spain, back-to-back Britain and Germany. Belgium was the one-off, and then Russia and Japan he also won back-to-back. And you can see after that, Sebastian Vettel scored, 85 points in the final 4 rounds of the World Championship. Lewis scored about 41, if I'm not mistaken. There might have been a couple more, obviously, with fastest lap points and everything like that. But yeah, it really looked like Hamilton, he was going to choke this world title at the end of the day there. Someone very, very consistent, though. Obviously, Charles Leclerc there. Like I said, Hamilton won 7 races. Sebastian Vettel won 6. Charles Leclerc only won 3. But as you can see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 second places over the course of the season. A fantastic result by him at the end of the day there. Bottas did obviously claim only 2 race victories in the World Championship. There are a couple of DNFs as well. All the top 4. Well, Charles Leclerc had 1 DNF. Hamilton had 2. Technically 3. He did retire at the US Grand Prix there. Seb had 2. Charles Leclerc had 1. And then Bottas had 2 at the end of the World Championship there. So Hamilton, despite more DNFs, did still do really, really well in the World Championship there. Bottas just consistent, but never really quite there. It sort of came across. Obviously, did take a couple of race victories. France, he won, to be fair, on merit. Italy, Hamilton had that retirement and obviously gifted Bottas the win towards the end of the Grand Prix there. Verstappen, 1 retirement, 2 wins at the end of the day there. He got lucky at Singapore, obviously, with that mixed up conditions, and then just dominated the Grand Prix. And then the US Grand Prix as well, obviously got lucky with Hamilton's retirement right at the very end of the day there. You can see Pierre Gasly, like I said, had a very, very consistent end to the season. 3 podium places, a couple of 5th or 6th, and Abu Dhabi was a little bit lacking down in P11 there. And for myself, 3 DNFs over the course of the championship, fairly sort of standard at the end of the day there. Obviously, we've got that 1 win. There were 6 different winners in this season. Obviously, Bottas, Hamilton claiming 7, Sebastian Vettel claiming 6 even, Charles Leclerc 3, Bottas 2, Verstappen 2, and myself claiming 1 at the end of the day. They're ahead of, like we said, obviously, Weber. Very, very consistent there. He only missed out on points, 5 times, I think, at the end of the day? Yeah, just 5 times in the World Championship, ahead of myself, who obviously we missed out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times at the end of the World Championship. I really didn't think it was that high, including DNFs, but that was just the season we had. Hulkenberg, you can see obviously 2 DNFs, but after that scored points in nearly every race he did. He had a worse, obviously excluding the DNFs, a worse result of 12th there, but the racing point was obviously a very, very strong car. Nonetheless, they're ahead of George Russell, who you can see by about the halfway stage of the season what a resurgence it was by Williams. 8th at Germany, 5th at Italy, and then obviously points pretty consistently right the way through to the end of the season there. And as you can see further down the order, Grosjean a couple of DNFs and just usually right outside the points. A bit of a disappointing season by him. In terms of though the progress history, you can see a bit of a weird championship for myself. It's a very, very big cluster. Ferrari have now moved to the top. Red Bull have actually split Mercedes as well in the World Championship performance-wise nonetheless there. So yeah, quite surprised by that one. It looks like we could hopefully get a good 3-horse fight in towards Season 2. Didn't really want that. Cheers, F1. I guess we'll gloss over that. After F1 tried to delete me. You can see, yeah, obviously Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes, it could be a very, very titanic battle into Season 2. A Racing Point are now best of the rest ahead of Renault and Williams, and it's sort of formed into 2 different battles now. HAAS, Alfa Romeo, McLaren and Toro Rosso a little bit further back. Although, realistically, having a look at the chart, you can see we aren't really going to lose out on anything. We can't really go backwards from this state. We've only got 1 upgrade on the powertrain. We should hopefully, Williams and Racing Point, I'm imagining they've done a lot of engine upgrades. I'm disappointed we can't actually have a look at the upgrades the AI have done. But, we are not going to go backwards, put it that way. Hopefully, not many teams pile on any upgrades. We can't obviously do any upgrades before we head to Australia, even I should say. Because, well, obviously we'll have to, have to pay extra for the R&D stuff. So Australia will probably, again, be a bit of a weak performance for ourselves. Sadly, just that's the way it's going to work. Ultimately, with the rule changes, everything like that, I don't really want to risk having to do that. But as you can see, we had the worst engine by the end of the year. That really does go to show how important the engines are. You can see Williams and Racing Point and Renault there really, really piled on the upgrade. So hopefully those guys will go backwards towards myself once again. We'll have to wait and see about that one. But overall, I hope you guys did enjoy Season 1 of the F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory. Like I said, this video is a little bit sort of more talky, everything like that. Personally, I quite like the stats. Hopefully you guys did as well. You know, it'd be interesting to compare, you know, some of your guys' series as well on F1 2019. But that'll do us then for this video. Hopefully, I will see you guys tomorrow, where we will hopefully have some driver transfers. We're ready then. It's time for Season 2 of the HAAS Road to Glory. The aim is to get consistent again and try to build up this car. So, ideally, heading into Season 3, we're at least close to the top, guys.